Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Breeze Township Committee meeting of April 11, 2022. Please rise and join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Stepboy? Present. Mr. Platt?
Here.
Mr. Rabbits?
Here.
Ms. Lucido?
Here.
Mary Dona?
Here.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. Due notice that this meeting has been published by the clerk and by the Courier Post and Inquirer newspapers, as well as electronic notice as required by law. Also, a copy of the annual meeting notice has been posted on the bulletin board outside Township Clerk's office.
Thank you. Our first matter this evening is public comment for just our resolutions only that are on the agenda. If anyone from the public has a comment on any of our resolutions this evening, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Luis Lopez. I'm a resident of Mount High and Canton of Burlington. Came here to show support to our friends. And thank you very much. I really appreciate for that, so I could be here at least once this year. I have Quest of Revolution 130-22. Can you clarify that for me?
Mike, which one's that? My numbers didn't print out on
I think it's the emergency appropriations, Dean.
Right, 130-22.
The emergency appropriations,
Yes.
it's just a second temporary budget. We have not introduced our budget yet. So every reorganization in January, we do a temporary budget for the first 3 months of the year. Since that is now elapsed, we have a second temporary budget for the next 3 months or until our annual budget gets adopted.
Thank you. No question in the public section.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you,
Thank
Louise.
you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on any of our resolutions this evening?
Seeing none, move to close public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public portion for resolutions is closed. Our resolutions this evening are Resolution 126-22, amending records of the tax collector. Number 127-22, authorizing the issuance and sale of up to $12,675,000 of general obligation bonds, Series 2022, making certain covenants to maintain the exemption of the interest on said bonds from federal income taxation, and authorizing such further actions and making such determinations as may be necessary or appropriate to effectuate the issuance and sale of the bonds. Resolution number 128-22, authorizing execution of a shared services agreement with the Borough of Somerdale for engineering design and grant management services in accordance with NJSA 40A:65-1 at SEC for the pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure improvements at Ashland Patco Station. Resolution number 129-22, authorizing execution of a shared services agreement with the Borough of Lawnside for engineering design and grant management services in accordance with NJSA 40A:65-1 at SEC for the pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure improvements at the Ashland Patco Station. Resolution number 130-22, approving our 2022 emergency appropriations. Resolution number 131-22, approving a developer's agreement for SAF Store Centennial LLC, Block 213.01, Lot 94. And resolution number 132-22, approving the release of a maintenance guarantee for Shepherd Road Office Park condominiums, Block 207, Lots 8 and 13. Do I have a motion for approval of those resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just have a question for
Sure.
the shared services agreement for the engineering. That's a shared services with us.
Yeah, I could explain that. Yeah, it's our engineer, it's a project from Ashland, Patco that stretches across those two towns. Our engineer has a contact with us and also Cherry Hill, and it goes into Cherry Hill, so they don't need a shared service. But to do the work for Somerdale and Lawnside, he does need a shared service with them. So it's not money for us to them, it's just, so he can do his work.
Right, I just want to be
It's
clear
all
that
ERI,
the engineering,
all
the
ERI.
engineer is ERI.
It's
Okay.
Jeremy's doing.
It's Jeremy's doing all of
That's
that.
fine. We just want to clarify who the engineer would be.
Yep, yeah, ERI, sorry.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I believe we will be having an executive
That's
session
correct,
this evening. I will make a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Our next is approval of our tax collector's report from March 2022, approval of our minutes from March 28th, 2022, and approval of our bills for April 11th, 2022. Do I have a motion on those?
Motion.
Second.
Motion
Are
on
we all eligible?
March 28th.
No, I think Michelle, you are, you were here on the phone.
I
Yeah.
think he was he? I think
No,
he
that was a week later, I think, I was with my daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Did you get a motion?
I have a motion and a second. Yeah, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Any comments from our committee this evening? Okay, our last portion is our public portion, and before I open it up to the public, I just wanted to make one comment. I know that there's been some concerns and questions about our Eastern Junior Vikings football program, and I wanted to just mention a couple things about that up front. As many of you probably know, our youth sports organizations are all run and organized by independent boards, independent nonprofit organizations, through volunteers, parents, et cetera, who run those organizations. And that includes our baseball program, our basketball program, soccer, lacrosse, and of course our football program. We, as a township, do not run those organizations. Our role is to work with those organizations as best as we can to make sure that the facilities are the best that we can provide for our kids, and to work with them in making sure that the kids have a place to play and a safe place to play. There's been some issues with our football organization that I think everybody up here is well aware of. Excuse me. And I understand that there's going to be a meeting in the next couple days to talk about moving forward with our organization and providing an opportunity for the kids to play both flag football and tackle football. I'm hoping that meeting will take place sometime in the next couple days. And if that meeting does take place and we are all on the same page, it would be at that point that this committee would perhaps issue a permit that's needed for use of the fields. And then the kids can play. So I wanted to just indicate that before we opened it up to the public, because I knew there had been some concern about people who might have some questions about that. So with that, if anybody has any public questions or comments, please come forward.
I would like to say that Mr. Mayor is correct, and hopefully we are coordinating a meeting, but there are members of the public that are in attendance that have concerns or would like to weigh in and give us information that would be helpful for the meeting. So please, if you want to add, please you can stand up and share with us what your concerns are.
Sure, if anybody has any, please come up, share.
From Mount Highland and County Burlington. I just want to say thank you very much. Thanks for letting me know. I will be the first. It's been 2 years I've been here?
Yeah.
Been 2 years, we missed you.
Yeah, I've been taking care of my mom, and I'm trying to move up. I'm an official member of the Township committee in Burlington County, and I'm so happy me and my mom are official. I want to say I got 2 questions. What's the status of the store of this Township Center? Any new status? Anything changed for the 2 years I've been here?
The deal that we had in place, unfortunately, COVID kind of did it in financially, but we are actively working as a group with Mario Di Natale's our director. He's our acting business administrator at this point, but he's director of business and community development, and Mario's continuing to pound the pavement almost like a real estate agent himself.
Can I ask you about 2 stores in this time? One is none of the stores open?
I don't think so. Nothing really. If anything, COVID caused some more closures. But we are, as the economy is now it's kind of, who knows where it's going, but we are actively doing everything we can to try to change this situation here still.
And good job on your posts. I watch all your group amazing posts on Facebook. I watch it. And
we're a busy town.
yeah, I'm so happy to see my best friend on the show.
I thought you forgot about us. You didn't.
No.
No messages.
And I wonder if I can make a special request, if I could take a picture of all you guys to show my mom.
Sure.
Yeah.
I came here to
Yeah.
show her proof.
Luis, we'll let the rest of the public.
How about we
speak,
do that when
and
we
Yeah, thank you. I really
We'll do it
appreciate it.
before we go into the executive session.
Okay,
rather
thank
than
you.
hold everybody up? Thank you.
Okay.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions or comments from anybody in the public this evening? Good evening, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Kathy D'Angelo. I live over on Country Lane. And I know we're all outside of our Zoom boxes. The last time we came before the committee, it was 5 or 6 weeks ago, and there were a group of us here who were raising the issue about the resolution, trying to get the committee to look at the resolution to not approve the LNG facility being proposed for Gibbstown. Due to safety considerations, the catastrophic things that could result from trucking in and training in LNG to that facility. And so you had said that the Environmental Commission would be making recommendations to you. We've met with the Environmental Commission, and they were very interested in this. We forwarded to them all of the information about that. There were a number of people who presented at that meeting to try to move them. So, and again, to the township clerk, we had given them some additional information that was requested. So I just want to find out if there's been any communication between you and the Environmental Commission with this.
Not to my knowledge. In fact, I think Committeewoman February mentioned that there was a meeting tomorrow evening.
It's Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening, I'm sorry.
They are going to be attending by Zoom. The resolution most recently sent to the committee members and their board secretary, Ms. Gaffney, was passed along to the Environmental Commission. The Environmental Commission is actively reviewing the sample resolutions that neighboring towns have looked at so that they can do their due diligence and provide a recommendation to this committee. So I would certainly urge you to attend the Environmental Commission this week.
We do plan on being there. And FYI, that because we have been to a number of other committees around South Jersey. So just last week, Swedesboro was the latest municipality to approve, with no objections to that at all. It was a unanimous decision to take on that resolution. Well, of course, they're a lot closer to Gibbstown than we are, but we're still all going to be impacted by that facility. So they're the 15th community in South Jersey and one in North Jersey that have done that, just as FYI when they come back to you. We've given them all of the information on that, so.
Okay.
We did get the information, and I'm sorry, would you tell me your name again?
Kathy D'Angelo.
Yes, so Jennifer did pass along your email from April 5th with the Swedesboro information and their sample resolution as well, so that's pending for Wednesday night.
That's pending. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy, for being so persistent with your message too. I admire that.
That persistence is my middle name.
I like it.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Gormley. I also live at Country Lane. I'm married to Ms. Persistence over here. So I just wanted to reiterate what she said. The LNG project will involve the transport of fracked liquefied natural gas by trucks and trains from Wyalusing to Gibbstown. These trains have been dubbed bomb trains and bomb trucks because of their extremely volatile and hazardous natures. As you know, 295 is one of the conduits through which those trucks would be traveling from up there to down to Gibbstown. Goes right by Voorhees Township. May not abut us directly, but I can assure you that any problem with a truck going down 295, the gas will not stop at the borders of Voorhees Township. I also wanted to apprise the Township Committee that we have word that Audubon on their April 15th meeting will be the 16th community to adopt this resolution. I just also wanted to mention that on the Township's website, they have the Environmental Commission meeting set for April 12th, which I understand is tomorrow, not Wednesday.
Dave, do you know the correct date for that?
Environmental typically would meet on Tuesday?
Yeah, it's tomorrow then, I apologize.
It is tomorrow.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's tomorrow.
I just wanted to mention that because I
Yeah.
personally have had problems tracking down information on the borough website in terms of agendas or meeting dates.
So that was actually just updated for the Environmental Commission on Thursday of last week. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you get on for tomorrow's meeting.
Oh, grand. All right, well, I thank the committee, I thank the members, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for your persistency too, Dennis.
Any other questions or comments from our public this evening? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mark Sudo. I live on White Drive. I'm here for the
Can you give me either your address or spell your name again?
Sudo, S-U-T-O. Mark,
SUT.
yep.
Thank you.
So I'm here for the Eastern Junior Vikings. This may be a question for when we have the meeting, but I came tonight, so I'm going to ask. Been here short 3 years. Enjoy the 3 years here. Everything with Voorhees. But from my understanding, the previous board members were stepped down, and I do believe a board member has been assigned. And I guess our question is, how did this happen without a vote for a nonprofit or this organization, if that's true? Or?
Yeah, so the prior board members, what we found out, again, this is not the township-owned organization, were never fully elected.
Okay.
There was there's a lawsuit pending between a party and the Eastern Junior Vikings, again, that we're not a party to. I've only been able to pull it off the online database that's open to the public. And a court-appointed receiver was named by the judge. So that's how it was. So it came in through a judge.
Okay, and until this matter gets resolved, hopefully at this meeting, we can resolve this, and then the program will be back.
That's the hope, yes.
We're all for getting the program back, getting flag football done, getting tackle football done, and letting those kids play. We're on the same page as you guys are.
And last question, I guess, because I'm new. How will that meeting, the details of this meeting, be communicated to us to make sure we get representation there?
That's a great question. So, sorry, you want to?
You can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the meeting that the mayor was referencing was intended to actually be a small meeting to start to facilitate the process, to encourage that communication. We all are interested in making sure that the organization then offers its meeting to the entirety of the membership, meaning all of the parents as well. We do not know when that will happen, but the plan for that to happen should certainly be, in my view, a topic of the upcoming meeting.
Okay.
We'll
Thank
keep you
you.
informed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will. We have, I know personally, I've heard from many parents who are frustrated with the process. So I appreciate you coming in and, offering us some grace in your communication, because as the mayor stated, it is not a township-run organization. However, we do understand that our sports teams operate on township-owned fields. So we know why the public looks to us for, guidance and when there's frustration. So I think that our hope is that we can have communication with the receiver, who's the person that's been appointed by the court, to address what you're, or to encourage action to address getting the kids back out there. We recognize that people have kind of been locked up for a few years, and we're eager to have our kids back out there, so we're in agreement with that. I'm hopeful that the receiver will hear the message of the community and work accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the situations where we wish we had almost like Marlton has the Marlton Rec Council, which serves essentially under their governing body and has power and authority and oversees everything, because then what happened with football would not have happened. But now that there's attorneys involved and a judge has appointed a receiver, that's the best thing, short of us being able to take control and making something happen. I'm just reading off of, this letter is not privileged, I mean, anyone can over request
Yeah,
it.
no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
we have
the
no-
bylaws for, just to give you background and what was found that was made, we were made aware of, the bylaws were not being followed of the football program. Individuals claiming to be board members were never elected. No member meetings held, no tax returns filed, and an accountant offered to file them for free. Nonprofit status was revoked due to noncompliance. Money reported missing, it can't be proved. That'll be up to the judge and the receiver. And no meeting minutes as required by law. Any nonprofit, I have a nonprofit, even if you sit there for 5 minutes, you have to have meeting minutes or you'll lose your certification. So, I mean, the different sides involved in this whole thing, this was obviously a complete mishmash of whatever you want to call it, and the losers are the kids. And that's why I think it's actually good that you have attorneys involved now formally handling this with a judge who's going to take no, you know what, and a receiver who we all know, who his interests, they listed for us the things he's done already, the receiver, to get things back. He's a good guy, he's not a Voorhees guy, but a local guy. And his mission is to get the kids back on the field. But some things need to happen before we allow that field to be used.
Okay. But we want the kids to play. We do, both flag and tackle. Including my own son, who played flag last year, wants to play again. So.
Mr. Long, this letter is from Brown and Connery, which is a firm that apparently represents Eastern Junior Vikings football. Is that correct?
That's my belief. If you have the right letter, I don't think
Yes.
I had it forwarded to me. I think it was sent directly to you guys.
Okay, so it looks like, just so the public knows, it looks like the receiver, Chris Morris, engaged Brown and Connery, a law firm, to represent the Eastern Junior Vikings?
That's my
The
understanding.
receiver did, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm just confused about that.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Which I think, no offense to our lawyers on that, but sometimes lawyers can muck things up. In this case, the lawyer's job is to get the kids back on the field, insurance in place, permits from the township, make sure everything's safe, and then move forward, and so this does not happen again.
Lawyers never muck things up, don't
Yeah,
listen to
okay.
him. But Mr. Sudo, to answer your question, also as far as communication goes, I think as you can tell, we're all aligned in our interest to make sure that we move forward with football for our kids, and that our kids do have all of the sports offerings that they have historically known pre-COVID, during COVID, for the ones that we could do. So please do feel free if you feel like there's a missing communication. All of us are at your disposal to help facilitate that communication.
Can you email
as
or
well.
call us from the township
Yeah.
website? You can get all our numbers.
Thank you.
Mr. Long,
Thank you, sir.
are you aware of why the receiver canceled the meeting with us on the 7th of last week, but then on Saturday, the 9th, attorney sent a letter?
I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to the receiver, and I don't know why the meeting was canceled. My understanding is that he does want to reschedule it.
Okay, I
But-
just was confused because the last I heard, the meeting was canceled, and now we have a letter on Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to the meeting, so thank you.
Good evening.
How you doing? Daniel Fiore, 51 Sandpiper Drive, and Voorhees, obviously. So I guess that was kind of one of the questions I had. I think this whole thing kind of got out of control at first, where it was a rift between two parties. The old board, which there was obviously mistakes made, the new incoming incumbent or whoever was appointed by the judge. My wife actually had filed started a petition, which I was unaware of until the second day it was started. And once I kind of started getting more involved and reading into it and see what was going on, one of the questions I had was, so since the meeting was canceled, and then that paperwork, I believe was on the 9th, was filed, since then, the nonprofit has been revoked.
The nonprofit was revoked, I
Do you
think.
want to, here, I'll read you, since the receiver was appointed on March 4th, he's taken control of the bank account to avoid any further misappropriation. I'm not accusing, I'm just reading off a lawyer letter. Renewed the insurance policies, which were critical for us to give a permit. Also, our township has been named an additional insured and provided with that certification. Fire extinguisher inspection provided by the township has been paid because that was outstanding. Evidently, the website, social media accounts are updated for 2022. NFL Flag Football League was contacted. License previously issued DJV has been properly restored and it's a company asset in good standing again. Annual dues have been paid to SJIYFL. The post office box has been renewed as it was close to expiring. There was a meeting, it says here, including with Mr. Watson, to attempt to get the flag football program jump-started because of obviously time consideration.
Correct.
We're already in April. The field usage app has been submitted, but we need a couple things to happen until we can approve a permit. Tax return filing is going to get done, working with an accountant. Nonprofit status restored. It says here some type of letter was sent to EJV parents. Registration is open for tackle football and cheerleading with many children signed up. And agreed to a request for a small group meeting to outline the details of the flag football program. As of this time, the specific meeting date and time has not been made. The date hasn't been made. And it says here that we're supposed to approve
And that's the part that's not happening until that meeting
tonight,
occurs.
right, that we were supposed to
Okay.
tonight approve.
We're hoping that meeting.
We need the meeting to happen.
I think a lot of my questions are going to be for when that meeting actually happens. So the part that we mainly have an issue with is moving forward with an email sent out that certain kids were able to register, certain kids are not.
Right.
We've gone on the website. Some people have tried to, let's say, the specific children were left out of the registration email. If that's going to be the case going forward, our issue is we have no issue with who's been a court appointed to or in the league. Is that if they're going to have an election to have a parent-run based board, when is that election going to happen? And if we could work with Mr. Morris to get something done to where we can actually just get these kids back on the field, because it's to the point where half my team last year that is moving up to the 8th grade team or the 7th grade team have not gotten emails to register. And I guess my only concern at this point is to make sure that kids can play. I really don't care what's going on with the adults. Honestly, it's none of my concern.
I think we're on the same page with that, and I think that the sooner we have this initial meeting and see that we're all on the same page, the sooner that that they can move forward and establish an organization for the EJV, whether it's new people, some people from before, or a combination of both. I don't see any reason why it can't mirror what they did last year with flag football. There was hundreds of kids out there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. It was run very well. Everything went smooth.
And we're of the hope, as I think you are, that will happen again.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure that I write down the questions because I'll be at the meeting.
Okay.
So just so I'm clear, one of your questions is why were certain children left out of the registration email?
Correct.
Could you just give me, because I don't want to go into it and not really know what I'm talking about, without getting, like putting you in a bad position, how do you become aware that happened, or how do you
just certain parents reached out and just said, I was told that registration was open, certain parents or friends.
So some of them received an email stating registration was open?
Correct, and even I received one of them and tried to click on it and it said for some reason my son was not eligible to sign up. I don't know, I was able to sign my daughter up for cheer, but not, which she doesn't.
Do you go through like Blue Sombrero, or what do you go through to when you do the registration?
There's a link in the email.
Is it a third
Blue
party?
Sombrero,
Blue
right?
Sombrero? Okay. Right, so they put in the eligibility, it's like soccer.
Correct.
Does.
Yeah. And actually, I don't want to speak for anybody who's here, but I did kind of volunteer your wife to maybe attend this meeting to sort of provide this information, because these are the specific contexts that I think.
Yeah, no, that because we're trying to ask questions on behalf of community members approaching us, so it is helpful to have context around that. So I just want to be clear that it does seem, because I think that in conversations that I had with the receiver, his position is that the email list is a asset of Eastern Junior Vikings, so one would make the assumption then they have all the emails.
Correct.
To be able to reach out to everyone.
And these will all be returning players anyway, so they should have more contact information.
So you're stating that some people actually didn't even get the email?
Correct. Or like myself, received the email but was not able to click on the link to register the child for it. I mean, we were trying to sign up for flag. When we heard flag was up and running, we were good to go. I was starting, going to register my son for it, and then for some reason it just says you're not eligible to brings you to a page, tells you're not eligible to basically further the registration process.
Was that for flag or tackle?
That was for tackle.
Okay. And then you wanted to also know, like, when will the
going forward, if Mr. Morris is going to be appointed by the court, that's fine. Everything's great and all. From what I've heard good things about him, so that's everything's good. Would we then have an election for a parent appointed board? Because to my knowledge, no one ran last time, which is why certain people were appointed. I don't want to get too much into that because it's something it's going to go on in court. But if nobody runs, who is then appointed?
Great
And
question.
if the nonprofit is going to continue to be revoked, would the town then step in and be like, run something like you mentioned
But
with
the
Marlton?
nonprofit's good now, and it's not hard to renew a nonprofit as
Yeah.
long as you do in New Jersey, there's a minimum you have to do.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be worried about the nonprofit being
Okay.
revoked as long as Mr. Morris is still in place. He will not let that happen.
Yeah, I would hope not.
No.
Yeah.
Because he's at if he does anything that's off, the judge will have his you-know-what.
Yeah.
So I think that the best case, knowing Chris Morris,
Mhm.
and that a judge put him in charge, I think the program is in good shape. And then they'll guide the formation of a board. If a parent wants to run, doesn't want to run, they'll guide through that whole process. They will
Okay.
not. And the problem is, obviously, adults, and it's not the only sport. My kid plays
Listen, I get it.
hockey, ice hockey.
There's politics involved, I get it,
And
but what I'm trying to get a point is in order to be an SJI, we have to have a minimum of 5 teams. They'll only waive the 5th team, which is the 65 or 70 pound football team, if you don't have enough registration, which is understandable. 5 and 6-year-olds typically don't play tackle, or sometimes they do. So they'll waive that 5th team. We don't even have enough registration for those 4 teams to get into SJI, even if we were to renew our yearly membership. So my question is, as parents, if we can somehow, I don't know if rush a process. I don't know where you guys step in at that point. I don't know too much of that side, but if we can get some type of election going, or at least get nominees for that,
Right,
then
so you want communication on
absolutely.
the
That's
election.
all we're asking for.
Yeah, the
at that
election
point.
process, like when it's gonna be,
Yeah, because
Right,
then,
just
'cause
so
then
you can-
it's going to go ahead with the 7th and 8th grade team, and that's great. And Morris and Charlie, I'm sorry, are trying to get this started to a point where they can go on with this league, and that's great. And all, we're on the same side as that, but then the little guys kind of get left out. And
Right.
although I'm coaching some of the older kids, I still would like to see the little kids, start to get started, and at least the 80 pound and 105s, 125s.
okay.
And
So-
we're definitely, very interested in seeing the control of the organization be returned to a parent board. I mean, as parents, everybody sitting up here is a parent also, and, we know that those are the people who are invested in moving the sport
Correct, and the
forward
petition
as well.
was
We
filed
understand.
just in case, to make sure the little guys didn't get left out. That's all it was. It just
Understood.
tends to be, political when you get up into the higher grades. We're just trying to keep the little guys involved and make sure the registration is kept up there.
Yeah, no, that's important.
So
And
communication
Chris, in there, it says that Chris Morris has gotten the certification from the SJI.
I think that was
The SJI, but
That was flag.
correct.
Was
So
that
that's
for
just to-
SJI or flag? I think.
It said both. It said NFL flag, and then it said something about SJI.
Yeah, that's just renewing your yearly membership for SJI, and in order to actually be registered that year, you have to have a minimum of 5 teams, and they'll waive the 5th. You can enter with 4 teams if you don't have enough registration at the 60 pound age.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure that gets done so that our 70 pounders and 85 pounders can start to register.
Yeah, and we will, certainly at the meeting, these are all great questions they ask, we'll ask that. Well, I think it's also important, we'll clarify whether, I think communication to the membership and to us will be coming from the attorney that I'm assuming Eastern Junior Vikings is paying with membership dues, or if it will be coming from the receiver,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I think that's important. I think parents deserve to know, where the registration money's
Yeah.
going and what it's
Right.
paying for. It's kind of
Yep.
important. And then also, I just want to be clear to the public, this letter does state that a key component to moving forward is the approval of the Township Committee at their meeting on April 11th, which is today, of the field uses application. Going beyond the state will put flag football in jeopardy, as it will simply be too late to get this season successfully underway. I am personally offended by this statement, as we had a meeting with the receiver, and I did ask our chief, Bordy, who was going to be at the meeting as well, to confirm the meeting, and he made an effort to confirm the meeting last Thursday, and the receiver made the decision to cancel it. So I personally will not take responsibility or allow my fellow committee members to take responsibility for something that was a decision by the receiver. So I just want to be clear to the community, us not making the decision to issue the permit tonight in no way means that we don't want flag to happen or don't want the season to happen. It just means that we need to understand and get the answers to the questions like
Okay,
you.
understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Nice meeting
this
you.
evening? Evening, John. How are you?
How you doing, Mayor? How are you?
I'm
Nice to
good.
see you. I'm John Brecker. Sorry for I was late. I was out with my daughter. Feel like I just ran a couple laps around the football field. For the people on the board, council do not know who I am. I'm John Brecker. I've been with EJV since it was Voorhees Vikings way back in the late 90s. So that's how long I've been there. I'm probably there longer than some of the dirt on the field that's been there.
It's turf now, John. Yeah.
Yeah, it's turf now. Thank God. I just want to express my opinion, and I've been wanting to be vocal. I've actually wanted to send you an email a couple times,
Call me.
and I was told to wait and not whatever's going on. I didn't want to get involved, more or less. My heart breaks. It's dying. What's happening to this organization right now? From where we were 20 years ago, when we were Voorhees Vikings, to where we are today, it's night and day. Where we came from and where we are now. The last year has been really, really tough on the organization with the past president, what he had done, and where we are now. I'm also very upset and very pissed off, if I can use that language here, I apologize. Because the person who's doing this to the organization isn't just doing it to the organization, he's doing it to the kids of Voorhees, Berlin, and Gibbsboro. And it kills me that a person who says that he's here for the kids, to me, it looks like he's not here for the kids. And I have several parents that have emailed me, texted me, talked to me personally, and asked me, what is going on? What should I do for my child this year? And these are all kids that are going to be on that upper level team because they know what is going to happen up there. And they don't want to put their child through that. They don't want to through a drama. They just want their kid to play football and enjoy their experience with their friends. Some of these kids have been in the organization 6, 7 years, and they go up there, they're not going to get a shot. And I'm telling them, go play football somewhere else if you want. Go somewhere else, play football, because that's what it's all about. It's about playing football. Football teaches us about life, and right now we're dealing with life matters in this organization that is killing this organization. I got kids that are on the level that I coach, which is 11 and 12-year-olds, which are basically 6th and 7th graders, and even the lower grade ages below me, they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea. We had a banquet canceled because adults can't get along, or an adult's trying to do something, so the banquet was canceled this year. We had the banquet canceled last year because of COVID. So there's 2 years without a banquet that these kids look forward to getting their trophy, or whatever. Even the little ones died for that, to get that trophy, and they didn't get that opportunity because of someone wants to do this. Because he didn't get his way during the course of the year, because the president, vice president, and the treasurer pushed back against him and told him no, because the prior 2 presidents allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do, and he got his way. So when adults who were trying to get the organization back up to where it should have been because of what had happened in the past, now he's telling them, no, you can't do that. It isn't just for one level, it's for everyone. And that's where this problem started, because an adult was told no several times, and he doesn't like to be told no.
Well, John, first of all, let me, not everybody up here knows you and knows the time that you've put in, but thank you for the decades that you've put into this organization. I'm there sometimes, but you're there all the time. And it's the people like you who make those organizations and all of our organizations work. You came in a little late, and we had an opportunity to share some information before you got here. We're aware of what's going on. What we can tell you is that there is going to be, we anticipate a small meeting in the next few days to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we can move forward with the EJV and reestablishing them as a bona fide organization, for lack of a better term. We are determined to have both a flag football season and a tackle football season.
And
much the-
cheerleading.
And cheerleading, yes. Much the same as we've had before.
Right.
Because, as I said earlier, as far as flag football goes, my son played, he's looking forward to playing again. My older son played in the organization many years ago. Our football organizations are important to us. So we are optimistic, at least I am optimistic, I don't want to speak for my colleagues, that this is going to work out. We're going to issue a field permit, I hope, when we all get on the same page. But we want to make sure that the kids are protected, and that we act, and that the board and the receiver acts in the best interest of the kids, because that's really what.
And that's what it's all about.
That's why we're all here.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I've done this for as long as I have.
And I appreciate that.
It's about them right back there, and everyone else that's in this
Yes.
organization.
I appreciate that, and it's a thankless job, but we do it because we enjoy doing it. And I've done it. Everybody up here has probably done it at some point. But that's where we are, and that's where we're going. And I think we're all sort of on the same page of having flag, having tackle, and reinvigorating this organization. So.
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate everything you guys do, and I know that it's tough, and I get that, I understand it.
But it's important.
It is, it's very important. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. I wouldn't have done this for as long as I do. I haven't had a son or a daughter in this organization for many years, and I do this because it's what I get. It's my fulfillment. I get joy, I get happiness, whether you win, lose, or draw, whatever it is. It's not just about football, it's just not about cheerleading. It's about showing the kids from the time they're in kindergarten to the time they're in 8th grade and they get ready to go to Eastern or wherever else to go. Life is tough, and it teaches them life lessons, and that's what it's all about. It's to make sure these kids understand what's going on, and to give them an opportunity to play football.
Yep.
And cheer.
And thank you for honestly for your volunteer work. I can sense and feel your frustration as a volunteer.
Jess has been my team mom for many years. DJ's coach for many years. She's got a run up the last few weeks with text messages from me and back and forth and all that, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That gentleman right there, Coach Pro, he trains the kids at EJV. He's up there all the time up there, giving his time up there, training them so they become better football players and better athletes and better people, and he's there. And that's what it's all about. We got to come together somehow, some way. We got to come together.
We are,
Yeah.
and you have touched a lot of lives, as have all the volunteers. And as I said earlier, before you got here, we're very proud of all of our sports organizations, and they're all
As it should be.
They're all volunteer boards.
Yeah.
Parents who give their time, and friends who give their time, and we want to do everything we can to make sure this moves forward. So
I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you coming in. We know that it's not always easy to stand up in public and say something you don't want to be viewed as.
Normally I don't need this. I get a real
I kind of sense that
You
too.
have a coach voice.
Yeah.
John,
I
it's
really
not
need that.
it's not hard to hear John on the floor.
No, but no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for your time. And
Thank you, John.
Give me a chance to
Thank you.
speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jessica Fiore. I live at 51 Sandpiper Drive as well. I'm the one that started the petition for the parents from EJV. I had a lot of parents coming to me because I have been the team mom and my son's played for 7 years. What's going on? Why can't we register? What's going on with the parents? What's going on with the league? What's going on with the award ceremony? And I don't know. It's, the same answers that they're getting is we just don't know. And it's not fair for our kids. So I started the petition as kind of a neutral person. I did it in the interest of our children because they deserve this, they need this. I played sports my entire life. I know how important it is. And I feel like they're watching us and they're watching how we're behaving. And unfortunately, I feel like some adults are not making very good decisions on how we should behave. So that was why I started the petition. I brought it with me, not the petition, but the names. As of 6:30 when we left the house, there was 86 signatures. For some reason, they're not all printing out though, because I know the last name on here wasn't the last name. But I did also want to bring to light that I've had a few parents reach out to me saying they were afraid to sign the petition due to retaliation that they may.
I signed it.
I know you did, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thank you very much.
Thank you for not being afraid of retaliation.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of any.
So, me either.
Want me to sign it? I'll sign it.
It's
I'll send
online,
you the
it's
link.
on change.org.
I'll send you.
Well,
They're afraid of retaliation, so I do have more support than what is showing. I do have a letter that a parent wrote because they did not want to sign it and they wanted it anonymous. And I can bring that to the meeting if we show up, because it's not as neutral as I am trying to stay. But I just wanted you to know that there's much more support than is actually on paper.
And I think we understand that, and we've had some, what I think is pretty good dialogue this evening, and thank you for stepping up and doing what you did. Because sometimes it's not the most popular thing to do, but you're looking out for your kids, which we can all appreciate. However many names are on that petition, we've heard the message, we know the message, and we agree with your message, which is why we signed the petition.
I appreciate that.
And we're ready to move forward and do whatever we can to facilitate both flag football and tackle and cheerleading.
And it's a perfect example of why
Thank you.
years ago, Mario Di Natale was right there. He wanted to convert our sports team board, which is essentially a representative from each sports league, which has no authority, no power. Chief Bordy, on his own time, would supervise it, but we wanted to create a Marlton-like commission, because then we would have purview if something like this
And how
happened.
does that happen? How could that happen?
We have to get buy-in from
All the
different
organizations.
organizations to join in, and some of the organizations.
Yeah, at this point,
But that's the positive part of having a situation like, I believe Marlton has the closest with the rec council, and they fundraise together, they split up the money, they have the street hockey, the soccer, the lacrosse, and it's all done. I'm sure there's politics involved, but it's all done by a commission.
Yeah.
And that gives the governing body authority to just step in and handle things when unfortunately stuff like this, when the adults muck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's three stakeholders, Jackie, Michelle, and Mike are three stakeholders with kids that either want to participate in flag, cheer, football, the tackle football. Harry and our kids are done, and I remember playing actually
thought I
football.
was done.
I remember playing against the Voorhees Vikings when I lived in Cherry Hill on the west side and played for the Haddonfield Bulldogs against the Voorhees Vikings. And but Harry and our kids they're finished with youth sport. So, but they're stakeholders on this board, and we've been contacted, each of us personally, by multiple parents. I mean, I've had parents from Berlin Borough call me, of friends of mine out there, so that aren't even Voorhees. And that's how I found out about the whole thing that was going on. So the good part is there's attention on it from a judge and a receiver, and the bad part is we have very limited authority except to tell all the parties, get together, figure this out, because it's about the kids, not you adults who are setting, like you said, god-awful examples for the kids. And none of us are beholden to anyone, we just want the kids to play.
One of the things to the Deputy Mayor's point is that we are reinvigorating our Recreation Advisory Board, which we have had, but we are, with the help of Deputy Mayor Nacito and myself and Chief Bordy, we are having representatives from all of our sports organizations to start meeting on a regular basis to share concerns and ideas like this one, so that perhaps they can be addressed early on before it gets to the point of lawsuits and petitions and things like that, and to really do what's best for the kids. So, but thank you for what you've done.
Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your support.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. And thank you really for all the information.
Any other public comment this evening? Okay, you only get one turn.
Just one shot.
I just wanted to ask, it occurred to me that if the Environmental Commission meets tomorrow, and if they, in their infinite wisdom, because they're going to read all that information and we've had all this discussion, if they are behind that resolution, and they give it to you, they say, we're behind it, or will you take it up at the next meeting?
We will consider it, yep.
Consider, or is this gonna be like month after month, and
No.
you're gonna have to come
No,
back
it'll be
and
considered, it
represent
just
it?
depends what's in the resolution,
Yeah.
I mean, there's, everyone, this committee, the way it's comprised, it's one person, one vote. So, I mean, it's.
Yeah, if they share their thoughts and give us their position, then it comes to us to make a decision whether or not we want to move forward with adopting a resolution, or
You
passing
could
a resolution.
conceivably do it at your April 25th.
We could.
When something's escalated to us from one of our commissions, we do look at it quickly.
The issue is gonna be a lot of times what happened, like, for instance, planning board. I remember when the Gibbsboro Veterans Housing was getting built, that abutted a Voorhees neighborhood, and we had Voorhees residents calling us to do something about it. And we actually did send an attorney to those hearings, but the attorney had no standing because it was Voorhees. So, I don't know how much, it depends.
Well, this is a non-binding legal.
No,
it's not a legal thing, you know.
Everyone could be spinning their wheels is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The end user and the beginning user are the ones who have the authority. So if it's Gibbstown and wherever else, they're the ones who are gonna have the authority to say, we don't want this.
Well, this non-binding resolution is to make this known to the
No, we've done it
governor and
before.
other people
We've
there.
done it before.
Yeah.
Sure, show of support, basically.
But I'm just.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just tempering expectations, because this has happened in other situations, and if another town doesn't care where they actually have the purview, or could tell a county or the state no, and they just say,
This is just asking you to put your.
Right.
two
no, I
cents.
know, I'm talking to you as someone who's been through this
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
with other situations where we have done non-binding resolutions.
Sure.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So, yeah.
Thank
That's all I
you.
wanted to know. Thank
Thank
you.
We have a meeting next week, actually, but it's a work session.
Yeah.
But we could conceivably go into it.
Yeah, I think we were
could
just,
adopt something next week.
Okay.
if we hear back, but I think the more likely timeline would be the 25th, just at a regular.
Yeah, I'm not sure if everyone's gonna be able.
Yeah, I
to
think,
make
I
it.
know
Oh,
schedule
that's right,
wise.
the 18th, next week's also.
Yeah, so I think more, yeah, the
Spring
20th.
break for the kids, so
It's
we have
Easter
some,
Monday.
Yeah,
we have some scheduling issues.
yeah, I would think the 25th is a more likely.
Okay.
But we are certainly aware, and like I said, your persistence is
Yeah.
keeping it at the forefront of our mind. I mean that like truly. So we will make sure that we have conversation, and I know that Committeewoman Pepboyd is actively following the emails from the Environmental Commission as well. So
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments from any of our public this evening?
See no one, move to close public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public portion is closed, and we are moving into an executive session. Everybody have a great evening.
I'll be right there.
Taking a picture first.